We're going to talk about the stimulation of specifically skeletal muscles and how the nervous system can signal them to contract. When we look at the skeletal muscles, we can see that the skeletal muscles are innervated by what are called motor neurons. So skeletal muscles are innervated by motor neurons. So these motor neurons are what send a signal to cause the muscle to contract. The motor neurons release a neurotransmitter into the synapse between them and the skeletal muscle. So the motor neurons release a neurotransmitter, which is called acetylcholine. This acetylcholine binds to receptors on the surface of the skeletal muscle. So ACH, that's abbreviation for acetylcholine, you'll see that abbreviation, binds to the receptors on the surface of the skeletal muscle fibers. I ran out of room here. Fibers. I should say fibers, skeletal muscle fibers. Okay, so let's look at this in a diagram. So this right here is my motor neuron. We're going to talk about the structures of neurons. This is its axon, and then this is its end plate. And it is producing neurotransmitters. And when it sends an impulse, a signal, it is going to stimulate the production of this acetylcholine. So here's the acetylcholine being released into the space between the motor neuron and the muscle fiber. It then binds to these receptors, and then that is going to change the electrical membrane. So it's going to actually change the electricity in your muscle cell. Electricity just being a change in charge. So it's going to affect the change in the charge. So what happens is that it causes an influx of sodium ions into the muscle. So we're going to talk about this, that the binding of ACH so that's acetylcholine again. ACH causes the sodium ion channels. Sodium, I spelled that wrong. Sodium ion channels to open. And sodium moves into the cell, into the muscle fiber. This process of sodium moving in is what is referred to as depolarization. And you don't need to know what that refers to at this moment, but just know that the muscle fiber becomes depolarized, and then that is eventually going to allow the muscle to contract. So we'll talk about how this depolarization does that in the next lecture.